Welcome. Dr. Terry Levine here, and today I'm going to introduce you to the magnet method for attracting high quality leads to your virtual events without paid ads. I am really excited and happy to present this workshop to you, and I am thrilled to share what I actually call the magnet method. It's a proven system for attracting high quality leads to your virtual events without relying on any paid ads. So this is for you. If you've ever struggled with getting enough registrations to your virtual events, attracting the right people who actually will convert, spending too much money on ads with diminishing returns, or building a sustained pipeline of interested products and prospects. So you're in the right place if any of those make sense to you, because by the end of our time together, you're going to have a very clear, actionable strategy that will literally generate a steady stream of qualified leads for your next virtual event, whether that be a webinar or it be a summit, a workshop, online conference, it doesn't matter. And the best part, everything that we cover today can be implemented immediately with little to no budget and will continue to work for you event after event after event. It's proven. I've been using it for years. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about understanding organic lead generation and what that landscape looks like. So before we get into tactics, I want to get really clear on why organic lead generation is so powerful for virtual events, especially. So there is a shifting digital landscape out there. The digital marketing world has changed dramatically. Ad costs continue to rise. Privacy changes, they definitely impact targeting. And audiences are increasingly skeptical of paid promotions. Meanwhile, organic reach on platforms, social media platforms, remain a viable, yet in my experience, a very untapped opportunity. And we have a huge advantage here. We have a virtual event advantage because virtual events have unique benefits that make them perfect for organic promotion. How and why? They offer genuine value upfront, which is perfect for content marketing. They have a natural urgency and scarcity elements built in. They create opportunities for relationship building. And I teach at Heartrepreneur how to do business heart to heart, so it makes sense. And they can be repurposed for multiple content platforms and different formats. So I like to talk about what I call the flywheel effect. So unlike paid ads that stop producing the moment you stop spending, right? You cut the budget, they stop producing. Organic lead generation creates a compounding effect. Each piece of content, each relationship, each community engagement, it literally keeps working for you and builds momentum over time. So let me break down the key components of the magnet method for you. We're going to talk about content seeding. And by the way, this is my top strategy that I have used for decades. The foundation of organic lead generation is seeding the content. Think of it as planting valuable content across multiple platforms, and this naturally leads people towards your event, right? That's why I call it seeding. So I always tell my client family members to start content mapping first and doing it backwards, mapping out the journey backwards. So first, your first step is to identify the exact transformation that your virtual event promises. What is that transformation? Second, break that one transformation into 3 to 5 components, or I like to think of them as stepping stones. Then for each component, so you'll have 3 to 5 of them, create a seed content that does a couple of things. First, it addresses a specific pain point. Second, it delivers a very quick win. And third, this is a big one, it's going to hint at a deeper solution. And guess what that is? That's your event. Now, let's talk a bit about platform selection. Not all platforms, in my experience, are created equal for event promotion. If you're doing a business to business event, like specifically industry specific for hospitals or for chiropractors, or for CEOs or whatever it might be, that works really, really well. B2B events, in my experience, on LinkedIn. I love to also do seeding on TikTok and Instagram. That's for B2C, because the visual components are huge there, and the same for Facebook. Okay, B2C, Facebook as well. YouTube works really well for searchable evergreen promotion. And I like using niche communities. This is kind of my little secret sauce here. I use niche communities on LinkedIn and on Facebook where my specific audience is already gathering. Okay. Now we look at what I call the 3-2-1 content framework. And this is literally maximum impact with minimal effort. So it's 3-2-1. Very simple. Create 3, hence 3. Cornerstone pieces of content, only 3. Could be a blog, it could be a video, it could be a podcast, doesn't matter. So you just have 3 pieces of your cornerstone content. 2, repurpose each of those into 2 medium formats. So you take, let's say you take your, let's just say it's a blog post. You take that and you make that into carousel posts, for example. Potentially you make it into an email. Whatever. So you're going to break it into 2. Take your 3 pieces of content, break it into 2 different forms of medium. We're leveraging and optimizing your content. And finally, 1, extract only 1 micro content piece from each. So for example, it could be you pull out 1 quote, you pull out 1 graphic, you pull out 1 short clip of a longer video. Let me tell you why this 3-2-1 is so powerful. This gives you a minimum of 9 unique promotional assets from just 3 original pieces of content. Are you getting a feeling like you can breathe? This is a lot simpler than you may have thought it is. It's pretty easy. The next part that I talk about is community activation. Community activation, because content alone isn't enough. The real power of organic lead generation comes from strategic community activation. So what I do and what my client families do is we identify existing communities. We make a list, literally, we call it hub marketing, of every community, online community, where our ideal audiences gather. We look at all the industry-specific Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups, and we make a list of those. Then we look at any subreddits related to our topic. We enjoy Reddit a lot. We also look at Slack communities and Discord communities. We also look at membership sites, forums. Some of my client family members, in addition to looking at like WhatsApp communities and things like that, are also looking at Telegram communities. So again, we're going to look at and make a list of every single potential community of where our ideal attendees are already gathered. They're already there. And then we simply go with a value first approach. We don't go into communities and spam them, which many people do. What I recommend is that you spend about 2 weeks actively contributing value in these communities, in the right communities, just going in there with value, no promotion, value, dropping in content, tips, hints, tools, strategies, absolutely no promotion. We answer questions also as you're looking at the communities. Is there a personalized response? Please don't use AI. Please don't use copy paste. Really come up with a personal response. And then create some micro content specifically for what that community needs. Now that you've been in there 2 weeks, it's pretty clear, what does that community need? What kind of content can you drop in that will still be value? And then the other tip is I recommend you also connect with the moderators of these groups directly. I always tell them about what's coming up for me, and I ask them whether or not I can do any promotion. And by the way, a lot of times, I'm in like 6 of these right now, doing a virtual event soon. Some of the communities that don't allow promotion have allowed me to do some promotion because I've checked with the community member, community holder, and the community moderator. And in one case, they said, yes, I could promote for $50. I was like, $50 in front of 320,000 of my ideal audience. I'm all over that, right? More, I would not do an ad. I would do that. The other thing that I do in these communities is I also talk to the key community members. I can see who's active in the community. I can see who their admins are, and I start engaging with them directly. Now, after I've done this for 2 weeks, now when it's time to promote, I use what I call a soft promotion technique. So I share, could be a valuable insight related to my event topic. It could be a personal story of my transformation or of a client family member's transformation. I mention my event as an aside, not as the main focus. That would be spammy. I have asked the moderators if I can offer something exclusive to that community. Many of them say yes. What happens here in this approach that I just shared is you're positioning your event as a natural extension of the value you're already providing. I don't want you to go in there and be an interrupter. That's a spammer. This is just a natural extension of the kind of wonderful content and help you've been giving. Another thing for you to think about are strategic partnerships, because the fastest way, in my experience, to scale lead generation is through strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships create win-win situations, right? So what kind of partnerships for virtual events? Well, I personally focus on 3 different types. One is a content collaborator, asking for co-creators to come in that have information that's complementary. So complementary brands or influencers. Second, I also look for what I call speaker amplification. So leveraging the speakers that I'm going to bring and their audiences strategically. So they're helping me grow my audience. And third are affiliate relationships, incentivizing promotion for partners that have aligned audiences and giving them some form of compensation. Now, I always think of partnership as a partnership matrix because not all partners are created equal. So I use a partnership matrix. And what I do is I prioritize, number one, audience alignment. How closely do our audiences match? Second, I look at reach potential. How many potential people can they reach on social media or through email or through their blog or their podcast? Third, I look at quality engagement. How responsive is their audience? Do they have a high open rate to emails? Do they have a big engagement rate on social media? Are people downloading the podcast and listening? And then the final one for me is ease of activation. And what I mean by that is this someone that I can work with? It's just simple to implement our partnership, right? I want it to be easy. And I like to focus on partnerships that literally match all of them. The audience is aligned, the reach potential is aligned, they definitely have good quality engagement, and it's just easy to work with them. How do you reach out to these partners? Well, I have what I call the perfect partnership pitch. Try and say that 3 times fast. So I lead with specific value for their audience. How will this help their audience? Because they want to know what's in it for me. Second, I show evidence of successful events that have happened, or if you haven't had a successful event yet up until now, kind of content that would be amazing that you're going to be sharing. Then I make sure that implementation is super easy for all my partners. I give them, whether it be the swipe copy, the graphics, the emails, the social media templates. And I usually offer something exclusive to them or reciprocal, right? I want to make it a no-brainer for them to say yes. Please remember this, though. This has worked for me over the years. High quality partnerships, a few of them outperform dozens of low quality ones. I have done both. And now I only pick 3 or 4 really high quality partners. Now we've got to implement. So let's look at a timeline. I'm trying to give you as much as I can. And I want you to have it so you can implement it. About 6 to 8 weeks before we do events. We do a few things. We finalize the event concept and what the core transformation is going to be. Then we create our cornerstone content pieces that I shared with you. Then we begin these relationships in the key communities that I shared with you. And then we also start reaching out to potential partners. 3 to 5 weeks before the event, we're deploying our repurposed content that I taught you across platforms. We're activating the strategic partnerships that you formed. We're initiating the soft promotions that I shared with you in communities. And we can set up specific lead magnets and have our landing pages ready to go. About 2 weeks before the event, we're ramping up the frequency of our content. We're leveraging social proof as people are getting registered. We're implementing a little bit of scarcity because it's only about 2 weeks away, right? So from day 0 to day 2, we're talking about things like price increases, bonuses, maybe limited capacity, whatever that might be for you. And then if we have other speakers, which I do recommend, we're activating their networks as well. I want to also mention post-event because people miss this a lot, and post-event continuity to me is important. I like to repurpose the event from the content from my events for continued lead generation. And I have created highlight packages for those who missed it. In case you missed it, here's some highlights. Why do I do that? I'm always building anticipation of the next event. One event leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. And of course, because I build heart-to-heart relationships as an entrepreneur, I'm nurturing leads with relevant follow-up content. We covered a lot of ground, and I tried to do this workshop in a short amount of time for you because I know everyone's busy. So this is the magnet method. It is strategic content across platforms. It is community activation without being spammy. It is leveraging partnerships for exponential reach. And I even gave you a proven timeline for success. Now, remember this. In my experience, the beauty of organic lead generation for virtual events builds upon itself. Each event that you promote this way just becomes easier and easier. You have a bigger content library. You're strengthening community relationships. You're developing partnership networks. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with my 3 core principles for organic lead generation success. Ready? Number 1, value first, promotion second. Always lead with genuine value. Number 2, consistency trumps perfection. Listen, regular good content beats occasional stellar content. And number 3, relationships over reach. Focus on deepening engagement, not just widening your audience. I'm so happy that you joined me today, and I'd love for you to connect with me at heartrepreneurs.com. It's my community, and you're going to find people in there very interested in your virtual events. And I have more info on the method in there. And if you have questions, feel free to send me an email. My email address is terry@heartrepreneur.com, and I read my own emails. Just let me know that you've listened to the magnet method. Ask me any questions about implementing this for your virtual event. I'm happy to respond and answer questions. And please remember, your next virtual event deserves more than paid ads. It deserves the magnet method. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye now.